Welcome, Galactic family. May the divine grace grant you to awaken all your light which already dwells in your beloved inhabitants of Shan. My good friends, you are in this now living a splendorous period that marks your freedom from old patterns of denser energies, passing on to the next level of elevation of your beings. As you begin to transform your lives and experience this true fullness, you constantly go through tests imposed by your own ego generated in 3D, which insists on injecting doubts to them, and in this way there arises uncertainties that often cause them to border near quitting. The optimism and enthusiasm you felt at the beginning of your journey almost disappears on these occasions. Sadly begin to complain, and let yourself be guided by the old energy until finally there you are, the ego is back. It is here, my dear ones, that I want to invite you to reflect. The old paradigm made them slaves of situations that choked them, and you clamored for changes and firmly were fighting hard for them, so they finally reached it, and the help was sent by the great Creator, Father, Mother, and they obtained the liberation. You have received the necessary sustenance from the great and loving Spirit of God, Goddess, and He has led you through a long and arduous journey, always standing by your side and sending dedicated workers of angelic and stellar light to be with you. Finally, after much struggle, you reached the glorious summit, where you had an encounter with the long-awaited moment of victory. And behold, strangely, however, many of you began to complain right now that you have come out of slavery. Understand, there are no judgments here, there is only one sincere friend fulfilling with the promise that if you hesitate I would remind you of who you really are, and you are not these beings of the old energy, you are the light of the new era. But many of you, my dear ones, step back and seem even to wish for divine power to take you back to already moldy patterns that no longer suit you. How is such a thing possible? Is the journey by the new light path worse than the time of slavery? Consistency with your new standard of light offers you a startling explanation for this. The whole story that hitherto lived was a code suppressing your real possibilities and abilities. It was a disguised narrative of individual spiritual transformation, but that only led nowhere. But in this now you have conquered so dreamed freedom. Why then go back? Let's decipher the code. The old energy is a reference to the ego of the human being, the oldest master of slaves in history. Any aspect of this nature that controls you is part of an old paradigm, and these aspects that may still inhabit you denotes the seductive traps of the 3D world, which you must abolish in order to proceed radiant. The moment your spiritual path becomes challenging or uncomfortable for the ego, you have the urge to go back to your own old personal paradox, because here in the energies of the new age you have to pay a price by striving for your changes, working hard, seeking their self-transformations, and this costs, but it is evident that yes, and yet it is worth every effort, because behind the supposed no of the moment you will receive the definitive yes that they aim for. Therefore, firm in your potential and do not go back to the lowest level of life to which you have been accustomed. The path to transformation requires self-knowledge and acceptance of personal responsibility. It is not easy, we know it well. You are not alone, because with you there are numerous armies of brothers of light that will always be with you to boost and strengthen you in your journeys. Therefore, along Holy Warriors, is not the time to back down, and yes, to advance, because your light has already risen. We know that you are constantly tempted to give up. Therefore, as the representative of the intergalactic and Andromedan councils and commander of the stellar force of NESARA, who has always been in the service of good and is also on your side, I come to encourage you to continue and firmly resist the desire's insane withdrawal. To leave behind the spiritual bondage in which you lived means to liberate yourself from the slavery of your previous character, and this is necessary for your complete evolution. We know that you perceive the balance and harmony that fill every creation, especially in the difficulties of the challenges and the tests that you have to face in this now, making decisions of changes that you have to perform because you are accustomed to the old paradigm, and incredible that it seems that this standardization was impregnated in your energetic bodies and now you must strive to leave it definitively. But we also know your ability, and if you collaborate recognizing the points that must be changed and in fact changing them, you will see that it is not so difficult as this, just goodwill. You are princes and princesses who inherit the divine power that dwells in you, and with this power you will obtain the forces to pass through all these tests, which will take you to a higher level of existence in order to receive the joy and fullness that accompany the true transformation which is right before your eyes. Just look and see. Stand firm, believe in yourselves, you are able to accomplish much more than you are imagining. Get rid of ego currents and take your freedom for granted. It only depends on you because victory is in your hands. I am Dardos Shinichi of Andromeda. I love you sincerely and deeply. I am always at your disposal and I wish to wake you up for your victory. Let your light radiate through all the beloved Gaia. Because you are beings of pure light, the rest is just old energy. Let it go and be happy as you deserve to be.